Hello everyone, this is Visual Novel Gamer here, and I'm back with Katawa Shoujo. I lost at Risk last time we played, and, well, I met Lily, Hanukkah. We'll see who else we're gonna meet. I feel very tired this morning. Probably because yesterday itself was a very tiring day. On top of that, I woke up far earlier than necessary. After saying hi to Sasune and Misha, I start doing the work as instructed from the board. It already looks like it's gonna be a heavy day. I don't have any problem with that now, though Sasune and Misha might jump on me trying to get an answer about whether or not I decided to join the student council, even if it's just one day. I wouldn't put it past them to try, and I don't have an answer for them. If they do, so this situation is convenient for me. About 10 minutes into class, Hanako walks in and takes a seat, but no one looks at her. The teacher doesn't even comment on her lateness. He does, however, stop us to say that we're going to break into groups again. I turn my head and see that Sasune and Misha are looking at me. Sasune gives me a smile that is equally parts cute and menacing. This is a smile that says, "We have you now. There is no escape." Hee-chan, it looks like we're together again. Yay, yay! Misha leans sideways while Sasune pushes her desk close to mine. There really is no escape now, unless I were to jump through the window. Jumping out the window isn't the best option, sadly. ... What's wrong, Hee-chan? ... Oh, Hee-chan, have you been thinking about what you said yesterday? You said that you would think about joining the student council, didn't you? It's okay, Hee-chan. We were talking about it right after you left. After you left. And it would be rude to expect you to already have an answer for us this early, right? Ha 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 ha. I'm so happy you two are able to have a laugh at my expense. And even more pleased to know that you both know how crazy the two of you can be. Now that that's over, Sasune snaps back into serious mode and smacks today's assignment with the back of her hand in an overly dramatic and improper way. When I actually look at the stuff, it's mostly just reading. In fact, there are only two problems. I almost want to say something about how her rush to get started seems a bit much considering the small amount of work. In fact, Sasune probably knows how little there is and simply doesn't care. Yeah, it seems like the workload doesn't matter to her as much as the fact that there is work. The actual amount is unimportant. She approaches everything with the same level of ambition. While I'm reading, I let my eyes wander around the room and catch Hanako trying her hand at solving the problems. It looks like she's working alone. I can't remember seeing her work with other people before. Thinking back to how shy she is, it's understandable. Hey, that girl over there. Huh? Who, Hee-chan? Her, Hanako, over there. Does she always work alone? I think so, Hee-chan. Do you feel sorry for her because she's alone? I was just thinking that maybe she could work with us or something. No, I don't think that would be a good idea, Hee-chan. Why not? Shi-chan wouldn't get along with her. Why? Misha shuffles around the question, letting out a laugh that sounds very strange. It's nervous, but still has that lifting up and down quality present in everything she says. Just because, Hee-chan. By now, Shi-chan has noticed our conversation and makes me realize how Misha has been signing everything. She has been saying this whole time. ... What, Shi-chan? The friend of my enemy is my enemy? That sounds so harsh. I'm not going to say that. You said it anyway. I know, Hee-chan. It's fine if you overhear. I wonder if this is Misha's way of keeping things fair, since without her, I wouldn't be able to understand a thing Shizumi is saying, and vice versa. Is that also why she signs all the time, so there is never a conversation Shishan will be left out of? Dot dot dot. Anyway, we should start on the problems now, Hichan. We finished with time to spare and have decided to ask if there are... Oh, sorry about that, I just woke up. Are any alternatives to the cafeteria, as frankly, the food so far has been subpar. This sends Shizune and Misha arguing amongst themselves about their favorite restaurants. All of them are downtown, so I don't think we have time to go all the way there. What about the bill? Are they arguing just for the fun of it? Maybe they seem so distracted by it that they don't even notice the start of the actual lunch break. I look over my shoulder towards the back of the classroom. She seems to be studying her notes from the previous class. Then outside, everyone in class is busying themselves with the lunch break. Socializing, gossiping, rearranging desks, the ones with actual box lunches mix in, and chattering like everyone else. Only interrupted by short bouts of eating. But when I watch Hanako, it feels that I'm the only one who can see her. Almost as if she was invisible, sort of hiding in plain sight. Is she being bullied? Is she isolating herself from the rest of the class on her own account? I see her look over her shoulder towards the classroom's rear door. Come to think of it, she hasn't turned a page since I started watching her. I guess she's waiting for someone. What to do? I'm gonna... save. Perfect. And I'm gonna... let's go talk to Hanako. Try to be more friendly. I still feel bad for making her run away yesterday, so I better say something. Hi there, Hanako. Hisao? Well, at least she remembers my name. Hey, I just wanted to apologize for yesterday. I didn't mean to startle you or anything. I'm just new here and I thought I should get to know my classmates. As Hanako looks up to me, I notice her scarring once more. It's a little bewildering that you could barely notice it from across the room, but it's so noticeable from up close. That's okay. It was my fault. Nah, that wasn't anyone's fault. It just kind of happened. So are you waiting for someone? I saw you looking at the door before. Yes, Lily. Oh, you mean Lily, the blind girl? Hanako only nods in response, and I can't help but wonder if defining people through their disabilities is a flex pass of the worst kind or just normal here. I guess that explains why Lily took off after her yesterday. She seems like a nice girl. Are you two friends? Yes. As if hoping for Lily to appear, she checks over her shoulder again. I think I'm making her nervous again. I hope I'm not disturbing you right now. No, that's not it. It's just easier if Lily doesn't come here. Oh, because it's hard to get around the classroom? Not really. Hanako gaze drifts past my shoulder and towards Shizune. Shizune? Hanako nods again. What about her? Do they get along? Don't they get along? Hanako shakes her head. Clearly, this is something she doesn't want to talk about. It does make a strange sort of sense. Shizune and Lily not getting along so well. Conversation between the two would be all but impossible. It's hard enough talking to Shizune through Misha, even when you can see whose hands are talking. Hanako is so focused on Shizune that I am the first to notice Lily at the door. Oh, she's here now. Hanako spins around to confirm this. Upon seeing Lily, she moves quickly to the door. Lily. Ah, Hanako. Good morning. Is the president here? Yes. Hanako glances over her shoulder at Shizune again. as if to confirm she can't hear them, even though that's impossible. I suppose we best be off then. Lily's sighs and tone of what seems like frustration makes me raise an eyebrow. I guess there's some kind of enmity between the two. It's intriguing, but that's not really something I ask about. I'm sure if they wanted me to know, then they would have told me. It's only my third day here. I should be trying to make friends, not finding out why people are enemies. Still, it's a little funny to find out that the school has little feuds, just like my old high school. Even if people are more tolerant of others, they're still going to get on each other's nerves. Hey Lily, how are things? Sorry I made you ran off yesterday. Oh my, is that Hisao? I didn't realize you were here. It seems that Lily is a little embarrassed about being so frank in front of me. Sorry, Lily, I thought you realized. No, it's alright, Hanako. Hisao, please don't worry about yesterday. It was just a misunderstanding. If you say so, I'm still working this place out. Well then, I think you find most people here a lot more forgiving than elsewhere. If you are feeling a little confused, don't be afraid to ask questions. Sure, I'll remember that. Lily. Lily gives a small nod of acknowledgement. I'm sorry, Hisao, but we must be off. Hanako really doesn't look all that comfortable here right now. Lily seems a little embarrassed. I wonder if my apology really made any impact. Mind if I accompany you two? I know I'm kind of pushing it, but Lily hems quietly, still smiling. I'm sure that we could accompany you, can't we, Hanako? She looks at Lily, then at me, and then freezes wide-eyed. Sure. Well then, shall we go? I'm sure Lily wouldn't do this so easily if she saw how scared Hanako looks, but it can't be helped now. Declining after the deal is sealed would only cause confusions and problems. So we left, all three together. Lily walks beside the wall, letting her cane gently tap against it every now and then. Hanako comes along right beside her, so close that she is practically half hugging her as they go. Although it must make her walking that much harder, Lily takes it in stride. As we turn around the corner of the hallway, something hits me in the chest with the force of a steam train. Hanako shrieks a little, and my vision briefly goes blank. Ouch. Opening my eyes, I see a pair of saucer-like green eyes looking up at me. They belong to the perpetrator, a short girl who bumped into me and has now fallen down onto the hallway floor. She wears a PE uniform and a very worried frown. The former strikes me as a rather strange thing to have on during a lunch break. More striking than that, though, is that she doesn't have any legs. Or she does, but they are not flesh and bone. Her pale, very much flesh and bone thigh ends in shins, and feet made of some black metallic or plastic-like material. They look disturbingly artificial and unnatural. It almost makes me forget that my chest is hurting. The girl winces a little, rubs her nose, and jumps up. Aw, man. Hey, are you alright? Sorry about that, really. I wasn't looking where I was going, and you just came out of nowhere. Sorry. She's looking really apologetic, and her puppy way of looking apologetic. I quickly forget about being angry or anything, since hurt puppies are my weak spot. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Ouch. I say that, but there's a stinging pain growing in my chest, and I know that this is about the biggest possible danger for my condition. Don't overexert yourself. Don't forget your medicine. And most of all, don't get hit in the chest. I try to rub my solar plexus to seize the pain away, holding my breath in an attempt to hear my heartbeat. Seems normal. Hey, should I get a nurse? The worried, high-pitched voice of the girl snaps me out of it. I stare at her for a few seconds dumbfounded until I realize that I probably looked worse off than I really was. Doubled over myself and looking all tense. Damn, I'm over worried about my heart. No, I'm fine. Managing to say something in response, I pull myself upright, feeling my sore ribs one last time and take a deep breath. She just knocked the wind out of me. Big time. But it's nothing more than that. You sure you're okay? I hit you pretty hard. It's okay. I said I was fine and nothing's broken. No harm done. That's good, I was. Hey Sal, what happened? She's not quite up to speed for obvious reasons, but she sounds very worried. More than what the situation deserves, really. Someone just bumped into me. Nothing serious. Just winded. Sorry, it's my fault. I was going to get some stuff and I was kind of in a hurry. That someone here is Emmy, isn't it? The little girl coughs quietly and shuffles her plastic or metallic feet, looking down at them before saying anything. Hi, Lily, Hanukkah. I guess the girls know each other. Do please try to be more careful. You might be sturdy enough to endure these sorts of accidents, but there are people who aren't. The girl blushes and starts to fidget nervously, like a little child caught misbehaving. So cute. I find myself smiling. I know that. I was just... I gotta go. Teacher will have my head. I promised to help with printouts, but I went running and said, sorry, but I gotta change and everything. Before any of us could say a thing, Emmy has already bolted away, leaving the hallway eerily quiet. Does that kind of thing happen often around here? There are more rules in Yamgo than usual for running in corridors, but that rarely stops Emmy, it seems. She shakes her head weakly and offers a sigh. Composed smile. I don't think there's anything we could do to stop her. I'm afraid. Shall we be off then? Lily heads off along the hallway and Hanako hurries after her. The route to the room the two use for tea is fairly simple to retract, but it's still fresh in my mind from yesterday. Lily and Hanako quickly go about the business of making lunch. Before I could even open my small bag of food, Lily busies herself with her tones and tea bags as Hanako is getting out both their lunches boxes. So, is this what you mean by coming here almost every day? Yes, Hanako and I usually have lunch here. It suits both of us, so we ended up using this room regularly. After seeing Hanako's reaction to me over the past couple of days, I can understand why that is. Bon. That and Lily being able to get some quiet away from her class as well. I take my seat last after Lily pours the tea for us and sits down. This is a good picture. The more time I spend with these two girls, the more I think they're a perfect foil to Misha and Susune. Even without a voice, Susune is direct and brash, and Misha seems to go along with everyone. On the other hand, Lily is soft-spoken and relaxed, while Hanako seems to be the shyest girl I've ever met. So, how are you faring in Yamako, Hisao? You seem a bit flustered before. Apart from getting lost every now and again and bringing crash-tackled us on my classroom, fine, I guess. You looked pretty hurt before. Are you really okay? For a brief moment, I considered telling Hanako and Lily about my condition back then. I held it back. I can't tell why, but for some reason, I feel uncomfortable talking about it to these relatively strangers, even if they had been plenty friendly. Yeah, it's nothing. I was just a bit startled. Judging from the two girls' expressions, I don't think they're buying it. But in what I assume their way of respecting my privacy, they don't press the matter. I guess that is one of the unwritten rules around here. Don't ask. Even if people's conditions are obvious like Hanako's, there's still bound to be a story involved. Everyone has things that they don't feel comfortable speaking about, and I think everyone here recognizes that. So, how long have you been in this school? You both seem to know your way around pretty well. Well, I've been here since the start of high school, but only moved into the dorms a year ago. Hanako joined at the start of high school as well, and moved to the dorms when she did, if memory serves me right. That's right, since high school. So you've known each other since then? Since I moved, yes, Hanako lives next door to me, so it's only natural, right? Right. Yeah, of course. Living next to someone is probably reason enough to befriend them. Though I'm guessing that Lily's blindness played a part in it as well. I can't imagine Hanako easily making friends with someone who has to deliberately avoid looking at her scars. With that immediate conversation dried up, we start to eat our lunch. It isn't long before the bells are signaling the end of the break. Like me, the girls packed up their lunches as effectively as they set them out. I guess I better be off. Are you going to go with his out, Hanako? Hanako looks up at me, and for a second I can see that she is considering skipping class. Maybe just to avoid walking to the classroom with me. Yes. I don't know what to think of it. Hanako is... sorry. Delicate to the point of breaking if looked at in the wrong way. It makes me a bit nervous too, but I push the feelings aside, trying to be as natural as I can. We should hurry then. Class has already started by the sound of it. Lily gives a nod of farewell as she bends down to take her cane. Hanako and I filing out before her. We walk quietly down the empty halls to our respective classes. As we reach the door to Lily's 3-2 classroom, she turns towards me. Isao, thank you for sharing lunch with us today. My pleasure, Lily. And with that, we part ways, Lily entering her classroom and leaving Hanako and me to make off to our own. She's still looking like she wants to run away. So, do you really want to go back to class now? Yes. Okay then. I feel like I should say something more to her, but it's hard to come up with anything that would be appropriate and safe enough. And Lily was right. The more time we spend out here, the more explaining we have to do. I open the rear door to the classroom and walk in. The teacher looks up at me and opens his mouth to say something. However, as Hanako follows me in and closes the door, he simply nods to continue his lecture. This is the third time that Hanako has had Tennessee practically ignored. There's definitely something going on here. We make our way to the seats, and I notice that Nisha and Sasune are both missing as well. I wonder if it's some form of informal agreement with the staff, or if it's a perk afforded to the unique students of this school. Trying to make as little disturbance as I can, I extracted the relevant textbooks from my bag and start catching up. The class goes on quietly. The teacher seems like an okay person, despite the weird first impression I got, and the material is relatively interesting. However, the way he teaches is really bizarre. It's as if he expects that everyone is a natural genius. I hate teachers like that. When the final bell rings, I realize that there is still a lot of time left in the day, and I'm left wondering what to do. It's odd. At the hospital, I had 24 hours a day of free time, but here, feeling the constant shortening hours feels difficult. Everyone else left, and I'm alone with the teacher. Muto is examining the assignment sheets we were working on earlier, marking them with a red ballpoint. Raising his eyes from his papers briefly, he noticed me and first brows his brow. What is it, Nikai? I jump at him and address me, but I guess it's natural to spark some conversation since there's no one else around. Nothing. Thinking about what I do after school. The teacher slowly puts the cap on the pen he is holding and arranges the paper into a stack, clacking it against the desk twice. He seems very methodic, and for a brief moment I'm reminded of Shizune, but the teacher is more unhurried and relaxed, much more routine. You have no plans? No. I considered joining a club, but don't know what kind of clubs would interest me. Go observe a meeting of someone else's club. Might pique your interest. I guess. But I don't know how to continue from there. Muto looks at me in a way that makes me quickly want to take the words back to avoid a conversation. But I can't, so I have to forge ahead. I just don't know how to deal with people. I mean the other students. I'm talking to people and everything's... So it's not that I'm being isolated or anything. I just don't know what to think about. The disabilities, it's like, it feels that I'm being impolite if I pay attention to them, and it's weird to ignore them. Damn if I do, damn if I don't. The teacher scratches his chin absent-mindedly, looking very unresponsive. These things are only an issue if you make them one. You can talk normally with someone even if they are blind or something. Try to look behind the superfiction. There's not a single student here who isn't just a normal kid, behind whatever they might seem at first glance. He says the same thing as Yuki did. I know they're right, but it's hard. How can you not consider, for example, Shisune's deafness when the only way to communicate with her is to talk through Misha? Or Hanako. It's not like you can ignore her face. But I'm interrupted by the door of the classroom suddenly slamming open. Teacher! Misha crashes in, and straight in an enthusiastic greeting, her voice loud and lively enough to wake the dead from their graves. She starts towards the teacher's desk with her bouncing steps, hands energetically swinging with the rhythm. Muto, visibly dismayed at the interruption, and Misha in general slumps in his chair. Medika? Misha stops in her tracks and looks around cluelessly, as if she's sensing from his tone that she's something wrong, but has no idea what. Yes? We have talked about volume control before. Yes? But she doesn't lower her voice at all, and the teacher just rubs his eyes. So, what is it? We need help. We are running out of supplies for the festival stands. This is a disaster. She waves a pink slip of paper she's holding around. So, go get more supplies from the art room. What's the problem with that? Plywood is always the problem. Last time we wanted more, there was only a little. But that time, we just took it all and went with that. Now there's like none left there. So do you know where there is some? I don't understand. How would I know? Shi-chan, I mean the president thought that a teacher would know if there is plywood. Was she wrong? Muto looks like he's in great pain, frowning with his entire essence, and Misha doesn't get it at all. Looking at the two of them communicate is terrible. Then looking at a man being tortured by drilling his skull open while blasting pop music at full blast at the same time. I'm afraid I have no idea if there is any plywood in this school, let alone where it would be if there was any. What should I do? Perhaps try to find Mr. Namayo? I'm quite sure he would know where to find everything you need. You have to pray them from his cold, dead hands, but that's a different matter. Aw, I don't have time. We are so busy. She holds her head with both her hands, looking as displeasing as possible, despairing as possible. It is for a person like her. Without even noticing, she crumbles the note she's holding against her hair. I shouldn't even be fetching these things. There's so much to do, and we're falling behind the schedule. Muto looks at her gravely, and then suddenly smiles. Smiling doesn't fit his face. I think it'll be better if he didn't. I wonder if you could get some temporary help. He switches to staring at me, focuses with a hard expression, as if trying to say, go make some friends. That's that. I guess I could give you a hand. You can? Thanks, Hichan. You really are nice. She pauses, does a double take, and then points at me with her finger, yelling, Ah! And looking very puzzled. Come to think of it, what's Hichan doing here? Class is over. You should be having fun. We just had a little chat. Oh no, it's not a detention, is it? Are you in trouble, Hichan? No, I'm not. Is Hichan in trouble, teacher? No, he's not. Muto sighs deeply, and I feel that I have to help Misha to get her off the teacher's back. So, what do you need? Here's a list. I could try to find the plywood from somewhere if there's none in the art room. She offers me the note she's holding. I take it hesitating a bit. I said I'll help you, but this has no implications of whether I'm joining the student council or not. Aww. Still, thanks, Hichan. Try to be quick. We are in a stand building streak right now, and we must hurry, hurry, hurry. She bounces out of the classroom, leaving me and the teacher looking at each other with something that feels like a silent agreement. Well, there you have it, Nakai. You have something to do now. Please don't sound so smug. We got the list with a number of items ranging from paint to plywood, all written with small, neat handwriting. This is undoubtedly Shisune's. I have a heavy sigh. I'll be going then. Waving that long list limply at the teacher, I exit to the hallway. The classroom closes to ours are designed belonging to class 3-1 and 3-2. On the right side and class 3-4 on the left side. Each door looking exactly the same. Further down the corridor, still with identical doors, are rooms that I didn't think were used for classrooms. I guess the art room is not a classroom as such. I carefully push open the farthest door and peek in. The classroom, but it seems rather badly kept or not in use. Am I in the right place? Desks and chairs are all around the room, and a tiny layer of dust settled on them. There are some easels in the corners, so at least this looks like the right place. The room is flush in sunlight. From the big windows, shadows creeping all over the desk. Specks of dust are dancing in the stagnant air, making the beams of light almost visible. Jokingly, I called into the empty room. Anyone home? Something caught my attention, and I stopped mid-sentence. Sitting on the desk is a short-haired girl, curiously wearing a boy's uniform with a fork between her toes, a morass of food stuck firmly on the end. The odd way of dining seems to be caused by her apparent lack of hands, but her presence here is what takes me aback even more. How did I miss her before? She's sitting in a corner, very still, but I still somehow took her as a part of the furnishing or a statue at the first glance. I'm not being too observant today as a whole. The girl seems to be frozen in place, staring at me with her huge eyes like a rabbit in headlights. She's staring at me, her mouth wide open, ready to accept the fork. I'm staring at her, my mouth wide open, suddenly remember I didn't finish my statement and trying to think if I should. This weird stalemate keeps us both stunned into silence, punctuated only by the wall clock ticking rhythmically. Hello. The girl stuffs the forkful in her mouth, and is now staring at me expectantly while chewing. This is a bit awkward. Hello. I was told to pick up some supplies from here for some festival stalls. I didn't think there would be someone here. There isn't. That's why I came here too. She picks up another forkful. Does that mean you're here then? She raises an eyebrow, as if she was suspecting my observation was false. You're a pretty servant. I guess it does, but who are you? This girl is pretty straightforward, isn't she? I'm Nikai Hisao. Nikai. I'm just transferred in on Monday. I'm Rin. Tatsuki Rin. Rin Tatsuki. I won't shake your hands, but at least we know who we are now. That's very nice. Her deadpan manner of talking makes it hard to determine whether she's joking about shaking hands or not. It kind of bothers me. Joking about these matters doesn't feel appropriate at all. Well, I'm trying to figure out what's appropriate and whether this girl is... She seems to have lost interest in me and is now earing back her foot. Can I continue my lunch if you don't mind me? I won't mind you. If you need to get your stuff, the supplies are at the back. Go right ahead, but lunch. School's already over for the day. What word would you use then? There is no word for a meal you eat after lunch but before dinner, right? It bothers me very much too, but I don't really know what I should say. I don't think you are supposed to eat a meal between lunch and dinner to begin with. But I'm hungry now, and my delicious box lunch would go to waste otherwise. I have curry. It's very delicious. With much decisiveness, Rain once again picks up the fork between her toes with at least as much impoliteness as she points it straight at me. So, Nakai, what brings you to this place? Like I said, I was told to look for these things. No, the school from outside you look fine. Is your problem inside? I came to a full stop, opening my mouth, but not getting a word out. I can guess. I am good at guessing. Better than most people. Rin cuts me off before I can answer her question. Or skirt around it somehow. I don't know which I would have done. I've frozen in front of this issue again. I haven't even told anyone about my condition, or maybe it's only because it hasn't really come up. I do get the feeling that not making issues of this is part of the school's code here, as the teacher said. I wonder if the people here could relate. Probably not any better than any normal person could. I can't relate to Shisune's circumstances or Lily's either. Naturally, while I go through this in my head, Rin keeps constantly considering what my condition could be, with an complacent look on her face. She put her fork between her lips and leans back, looking at the ceiling as if the answers was written up there. A beam of light illuminates her face from the window side, creating a mask of dark shadow on the other side. I don't think there's anything in your head, and something in your guts would be more than the ordinary, like this lunch of mine, and less delicious. The problem must be in your pants. This messed up Sherlock Holmes kind of statement, and the sheer lack of tact is what it was delivered with catches me completely off guard. I think I might have reeled back, even physically, as Ren's eyes widened with relation and astonishment. So I was right, there's something wrong with your tact, wasn't there? Still partially in shock, but recognizing the need to reply something, I spit out the first thing that I can think of. No, nothing like that. I have a heart problem. Anthemorrhea. Thought. I said it. More like blurted it out, but I said it. The girl in front of me pushes her lips together and glows at me, looking very disappointed. How boring. Trouble in the patch would have been much more scandalous. What's with this reaction? Sorry to let you down. I forgive you. Just, I collect people, and a person with, that kind of problem would have been really great. Collect people? People with different problems. Huh. So you're just, going around asking people what's wrong with them? Pretty much. I see. ... With little left to say, Ring resumes her lunch and the conversation dies away, but I keep thinking about what she said. It was the first time I told anyone else about my condition. All the other people have either known about it already or heard about it from someone else. Or didn't need to know about it like every other student here so far. Still, should I have told it as naturally part of introduction? Is it expected of me? I'm Sal. I have a very serious heart condition. Is that how I'm supposed to go around introducing myself from now on? As if our disabilities would define us. What a disgusting thought. Or maybe this Takayushiko just has an unnatural interest in such things. As I walk to the back of the room to pick up the items on Misha's list, a chance opens to study Ren from the corner of my eye. Her hair is a burnt auburn, almost orange, and chopped short. Long hair would probably be possible with no arms. The boy's uniform and a lack of arms make her look very thin, almost scrawny. She is not particularly pretty, except for her murky green eyes which flicker relentlessly from below her short bangs even while she eats. The distance and the shadows make it seem like they don't reflect sunlight at all, but instead absorbs all of it within them like deep walls. She moves her feet almost as defined as a normal person would use their arms. However, I can see how this sight could discomfort people, especially while eating. It makes me feel a bit uncomfortable at least. I hesitate to think about the word unnatural, but it's too late now, isn't it? I keep searching the cabinets and shelves for Misha's things, but after enough time passes, the silence grows too uncomfortable, so I try to force some conversation out of the strange girl. So, do you always eat alone and this late, or do you get the occasional visitor? Visitors, maybe. You're my first occasional visitor, but I don't always eat alone either. Sometimes I eat with a certain person on the roof, if she's not horsing around. Horsing? She likes to do sports. Oh. And that's all I could think of to say. Both of us fell silent again, as Rain forks last bit of her food to her mouth. I look down at my haul and double-check it with Misha's list. It seems I have everything except plywood. So I think I have all the things now. That's very nice for you. Don't feel obliged to stay. I was about to take a nap anyway. You need to do whatever you were going to do with that stuff anyway, right? Or perhaps you like to watch girls sleep. I am not sure what to make of this, but Ren looks serious. Even if I did, I think I have to be going. I'll catch you around, Tachiki. You can call me Ren. I feel that our relationship is at this point good enough to warrant this much. I was already turning to make my exit, but she draws me back in. Fine, then I'm Hisao. Then you are. ... Ren looks at me hard in the eyes, but the immediate intimidating feeling you get when someone stares at you isn't there. It's like she's not looking at me at all. She blinks a couple of times, and I can't figure out why a pause like this just popped between us out of nowhere. See you later, Hisao. There is something like a tiny smile there in her face, maybe. I quietly back out of the room. As I shut the door in front of my face, I whisper to myself, what an intriguing person. From inside, I hear a muffled sing-song voice. I heard that. What did she hear? I jump at the sudden appearance of Misha, who I had not heard approaching despite the completely empty hallway. Somehow she had gotten to jumping distance of me without making a sound. Creepy. It briefly reminds me of Kenji Nutty theory about a global feminist conspiracy, but I pushed that thought aside. Shizune, standing slightly behind Misha, looks aloof as she couldn't have heard that remark that drew Misha's attention, but Misha is visibly excited. No, wait, more importantly, who is in there? There's no club meetings today. She tries to carelessly peek past me, even though the door prevents her from seeing anyway. What are you doing here? You took so long that we had to come check what's wrong. That's not good, Hee-chan. She wiggles her finger at me, scowlingly. I found plywood, but everything else is still missing because you are tardy. Oh, sorry, I got the things here. Was just going to bring them. I think you were up to some mischief, Hee-chan. Who is in there with you, I wonder? Misha signs something quickly to Sasune, pointing at her own ear a couple of times. Sasune immediately pushes her way past me and opens the door into the classroom I just left. I can only imagine the shock she is experiencing. With Sissy-san, the elegance and attention that is insolvent of guarding to defy school property by sleeping on top of it must be too much to bear. And indeed, she stares at Rin, frozen in place, apart from the slight but noticeable trembling of her shoulders from suppressed rage, I'm sure. Instead of blowing up, Shizune just takes a few deep breaths, adjusts her glasses, slams the door shut, trying to sign furiously at Misha. Maybe she did blow up, but I can't understand it. She shoots a very loaded stare at me too, as if it was somehow my fault that Rin is sleeping on one of the tables. I hope she's not getting any funny ideas about the reason for my tardiness. Hello. Rin's voice comes from the other side of the door. It takes a few eye blinks to realize she might have trouble opening it. I open the door to find Rin directly behind it, looking at us with a half-interested, half-sleepy face. Hello. ... Miss Tsuki, what do you think you were doing? You absolutely are not permitted to use school property for such disgraceful activities. Sure is suddenly very crowded in here. I didn't know I was this popular. It's hard to say whether she's happy or unhappy about the turn of events. At any rate, she ignores Shizune/Misha's scolding, so they have no choice but to drop the issue. Shizune taps Misha's shoulders, points at Ram, and makes some quick signs. ... Popularity aside, please don't do that anymore. ... Anyway, how is your project going? Will it be done for the festival? Rin looks at them blankly, apparently at ease under the pressure Susune's cold gaze stare is putting on her. I keep wondering about that myself too. ... And? Well, think about it harder. As Misha signs her reply to Susune, her face turns into an unsatisfied frown. ... Miss Tanakuki? Please try to keep this seriously. But we just asked her for what looks like someone threw up their lunch on it. Rin nods assertively. We'll think more seriously. Misha actually giggles at that, but Susune does it even after translation. She just shakes her head, takes the materials from me, and takes off with Mishune in tow. Rin frowns thoughtfully as she looks after the retreating student council duo. How rude. It's true though, I must finish my project before the weekend. There will be dire consequences if I don't. The end of the world as we know it. Like weekends usually are, but more dire. Much more dire. Maybe I'll postpone my nap to unforeseen future. I'm about to ask what project she has and what are those apocalyptic consequences, but she walks back into the art room. Since you have nothing to do, Would you give me a hand? This paint can doesn't fit in my bag, but I need it. She kicks lightly at a huge can of paint that's lying on the floor next to the table she was sitting at and sleeping on. It lets out a dull clang. Being the gentleman I am, I naturally pick it up. Heavy. Yeah, sure. Where do you need to take it? Away. And with that, she takes off to the hallway. Me and the paint can follow since there's little choice for either of us. The hallway is quiet and empty now, with Shishune and Misha gone, so we two leave towards the stairwell at the end of the end. Every 10 or 15 or 20 steps, I have to change the can from one hand to another because the thin handle cuts into my palm. At least it keeps my arms from tiring too fast. Ren strolls on beside me with an uneven pace that I have trouble matching. Or maybe I am walking weird because of the extra weight. It seems one of us is considerately walking too slow or too fast, and I can't figure out which. 2 flights of stairs below, trouble appears in the form of the head nurse and his fox-like grin. Ah, Mr. Nakai, what a happy coincidence. Takashi, too, of course. He nods courteously to Ren, who does not acknowledge him back, then turns to me because obviously it's me who he had some business with. There's something I forgot to mention on Monday. I nod and wait impatiently and passively because I can't even begin to guess what he forgot. The feeling of the handle delivering deeper into my skin doesn't make me feel enthusiastic about this interruption either. It's about your medicine. Since you haven't been that long on your current medications, there might be some unexpected side effects, which might require adjusting doses or even changing to another kind of medicine. So we'll do a few tests regularly. But what I want is for you to keep an eye on everything in your condition that feels off, if you get what I mean. Nausea, headaches, and anything. And come see me if something happens. Alright. So how are you? Everything fine? I give up and drop the can before answering. Apparently this takes longer than my biceps can handle. I'm about to say something generic as answer, but then realize how often I've done that lately. Other people have asked me that too. Teachers and students here. My parents, visitors, nurses, doctors at the hospital. Everyone seems to be concerned about them. It's natural for the hospital, not so much for a school. Except this school. This is a small school, and both the student base and the faculty seem to be very tight-knit. At least that's the feeling I'm getting. This is not the kind of school that gets transfer students too often. Thought sends shivers up my spine, but I give a generic answer anyway. ... That's great. Also, one other thing. My sources tell me that you've been at neither the school track or even the pool. So I'd like to know if you have taken up exercising as I ask. Of course I haven't, but this way of inquiring gives me the feeling that I should have been running my ass off on the track since the very first day. Do you have people spying on me? Not as such, I just happen to know a few people, but that's not the issue here, so don't try to slip out of it. Well, I was actually just doing some improvised weightlifting as an exercise. I pick up and lift the can up and down a few times like some sad imitation of a bodybuilder, even though it's weighing down on my arms painfully. The stupid grin disappears from his face for a second, and comes back like it was never gone. Tachaguki, would you give us a second? The nurse grabs me by the shoulder without waiting for Ren's permission, which he didn't need in the first place, and drags me aside. When I told you to exercise, I wasn't joking. I understand that you're still on your first week and all, but please don't ignore the importance of this. The reason I'm coming down this hard on you is because the habits are not easy to form. The more you slip and postpone, the harder it'll be. It's the same with everything, like dieting. Can you promise me to be more serious about this from now on? Save? I'm gonna say yes. Yes, I promise, definitely. He studies me for a minute and then shrugs, smiling again. Okay, that's more like it. If you go to the school track tomorrow morning, you meet my spy, who probably has no qualms offering consult to you if you want to jog a bit. Consultation. See you around. He leaves with a wave of his hand and no answer, and I walk to Rin, who has been waiting idly, leaning against the hallway wall and staring at the pale lighting fixtures in the ceiling. Even when I approach, she doesn't move her eyes off them. Are you getting medications for your heart thingy? Well, were you listening? Comes out more effusive than I thought, accidentally lashing out on her. But even so, I don't really want to start talking about it. I just met her. I don't know her. It's not her business. The nurse seems to be happily ignorant about confidentiality, too. Talking about that kind of thing in public. But it's not Ren's fault, is it? I look up at her, suddenly feeling a bit guilty, but Ren just staringly past my shoulder, quizzically, her head tilt like a bird. Sigh. I don't know why this is so hard for me. It feels like there's some sort inexplicable lock that prevents me from being more upfront about this. Yeah, they're for my heart. Will they make you better? No, not really. They just make me a little less worse. Rin keeps looking at me for a while longer, and she neither says anything further, nor displays any kind of emotion I could discern. I'm thankful that she doesn't. I think I'm still not quite used to all this. At the hospital it was easy, but I still haven't sorted my feelings about having to live a normal life with this disability. We leave the main building and Ren leads us towards the dorm. We stop at a small patch of greenery in front of the dorm building. The dorm is built on the slightly elevated ground with a wall, a few trees that everyone has to circle around every time they come or go. It's probably the only inconvenient design in this school. The entire wall, made of some kind of brick, as the building itself has been covered with some sort of painting. Most of it is still mere sketches, but quick lines draw with black and white against the gray plastering that covers almost the entire length of the wall. But some places look a bit more finished. There are human faces and legs and hands. I can't quite say what the painting as a whole might portray. Stacks of what seem to be paint cans are arranged in piles on the ground besides the wall. See? The left side is hardly off the ground yet. It's because I couldn't get in the mood yesterday. So I give up and went to meditate instead. Then it was suddenly morning. I have to work on it. But it's the guys from art class are helping with the negative space and base surfaces whenever, which is a problem. It's easier to paint big areas if there are a lot of people with hands. The reach is better, and it's a bit faster too. She goes on a tangent of a tangent, waving a little with her arm, or whatever of it that actually is to decimate. Even though I get the point already. The white cotton of her sleeve flops around and it makes me think it could look sadder than it does. But it makes me feel out of place, like almost every tangible reminder of the class-based special properties has in the past few days. The girl doesn't notice my dreary feelings, of course, or the fact that she lost me a while ago already, and just keeps blabbing on. So that's why I'm trying to figure out if there is something I need to figure out, and then figure that out before it's too late and all hope is lost. Why would the hope be lost? Because paint has to be painted, and then it has to dry, and then it has to be painted over with another kind of paint. Takes time. She finally stops, apparently thinking she made some kind of statement that makes sense. I think it's best to start from the top. So this is your project. You did this. Yes, yes. All of it. Yes. Nice, but I stumble with my words, suddenly feeling like I walked straight into a minefield of political incorrectness. It's okay, you can say it. I probably won't get mad. I blush really hard. I don't really know what would be the right thing to say, if any. It feels that I'm way more sensible than Marie is, though. This is really awkward. Don't you want to ask? How do you paint without hands? See, I'm an easy person to talk to. With my feet. I almost guessed that already. But isn't that hard to do? You're good at guessing anyway. I don't think it is, but maybe I'm used to it by now. I can't get my mind around the fact that she could be an artist, but seeing how adept she was using her feet to eat, I figure painting might not be a problem either. Neither of us had anything more to add to that subject. The afternoon light works pretty well. I was afraid it would look too flat, but it's not like that after all. I think it's actually pretty interesting. I wanted to see what it looks like in a dim light. Do you think it's flat? Well, paintings tend to be flat. Not like that flat. You know, flat, like some people are. No substance, no meat, where there should be some. I know a few girls who... Okay, I get it, but I couldn't really tell. I'm not that good with art. I can't remember many artists or artistic terms, so I don't really have anything to say. Rin shrugs her shoulders at that, saying suit yourself. Without saying it looks up at the sky as if trying to look for something up there. I didn't think I'll get any work done, but if you give me a hand with the paints, I could do a little before it's too dark. I wanted to get a headlamp. Halo lamp? Like the ones they have at sports tracks, but there aren't any. Rin sure is quick to recruit my help as well as was Shishune. It really makes me feel that the festival is such a big project that every pair of hands is needed. Why not? I'm not really sure if I could be of any help though. It's just mixing some paints. You can do that probably. Do you have motor control problems like, you know, those people who have some? Cerebral palsy maybe? Not that I know of. I get it. Our thingy has nothing to do with that. It gives me a sly look for no reason. No, it doesn't. Let's do it then. So she sits on an empty wooden box and very naturally picks up a wide brush between the toes of her bare right foot. I open a few of the paint cans, pour some of the contents into shallow bowls for mixing. The thick paints flow lazily from the can to the bowl like syrup. I mix them, creating funny, hyperlonic looking swirls patterns that melt quickly into each other to form a new modern hue. Rin sets to work every now and then asks me for a hand with something or the other. ... Finding different brushes is easy though, but mixing the paint to be the exact tone this girl is apparently seeing in her head is a frustrating ordeal. She wants precisely down to the last milliliter before she is satisfied. Her instructions are obsolete at best. Add half a splash of green. I crouch down to pick up the can of bright green. The other green. This green. I carefully pour some of the other green paint into the mix bowl. No, that's almost a whole splash. More white. Is green a good color to add? No idea. You're the artist here. A hint of smile appears in the corners of her mouth. Do you lack an opinion? No, it's just that I have no idea. It's okay, because I just got an idea. Add more white. With this explanation, I pour a mischievous amount of white into the bowl and mix it. It looks slightly whiter. That's not good. It has to be like the color when you wake up and, you know, That you saw the meaning of life in your dreams but can't remember it? Maybe it's yellow. I thought. Despite the impossibilities of mixing a color like that, the change of seasons or any other nonsense that's being imposed on me, I find myself enjoying it more than I thought I would. Seeing a painting being born on the plastic wall feels like magic. I spend the moments I had between mixing paints crouching down on the pavement and just looking at her work. It feels slightly intrusive at first, like breaking some imaginary intimacy, but Rin doesn't seem to mind the least bit. Maybe it's just in my head. Her entire presence emanates a certain different air as she practically works the details, adding layers of paint on top of other layers of paint, steadily moving her feet across the walls to add new shapes. When I imagine to produce a possible mixture of paint, the rare smile on her face is oddly rewarding. Apart from the few words when discussing paint mixes, neither of us says a word for the longest time, and even those short discussions soon evolve into a shorthand, both of us developing and using weird, impromptu code words for various paints and hues, as if there was some need to converse words and breathe and sound. We stay there late into the evening until it becomes too dark to paint properly. And this is the perfect place where I'm going to end it today. This is Visual Novel Gamer here. I hope you like, comment, subscribe. Hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Peace.